there, hope you're all having a great day. This video is going to be about the Kettle Moraine 100-mile ultramarathon race. Alright, so this race was part of the Super Slam challenge that I did. It was a cool race. It wasn't my favorite, it wasn't my least favorite. So it was really neat. I would say my favorite part about this race was the terrain and running through the woods. It was absolutely beautiful. So you really get to be out in the woods, into nature, and that was the best part of the race for me. The race was not very technical, but I did the year that I did it, it rained really heavily at one point and made the whole route, or not the whole route, but sections of the route extremely muddy. So if you do run into that, it's not muddy the whole time, but you do run into sections where it does get pretty challenging with the mud. And you do have some sections where it's pretty exposed. So that was a bit scary, being in a thunderstorm, being completely exposed like that. But you do, for the majority of the race, most of the race is in the woods and in cover. So that was nice. This race, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, so I ended up driving to the location the day before the race, and actually 2 days before the race, so that I could relax, get some rest. I stayed at a hotel before the race started. Had a nice time going to Packet Pickup and getting all of that situated. It's a nice, simple experience, nothing too complicated to do. A nice big area to start at. You pick up your packet at the race start, when the same location, but you can pick it up the day before. Nice big parking area to park. Some people even car camp there, I saw before the race, which I've done that many times. I should have done it for this race, and I enjoy that, but that's an option if you wanted to do that. And so let's see, this was a tough race for me. My devices weren't working right. I was having an issue with my shoes. Luckily I brought a backup pair that I was able to change into, but I wasn't feeling wonderful with this race, just personally. It had nothing to do with the race. The race was great. The route was fine. I at no point got lost. It was well marked. I just wasn't feeling 100% myself. And that's going to happen with some races, especially if you do a good bit of them. You're going to have some that are not going your way. And this one was off to a rough start. For some reason, my running watch wouldn't work, so I wasn't able to track anything, and I just got frustrated with that. But that was a minor detail, and it wasn't a big deal. What was a big deal was my shoes. I was getting a pressure spot on one of my shoes, from the pair of shoes I started out wearing, and that was really annoying. So I was luckily able to have another pair of shoes and a drop bag that I had prepared. Thank goodness, because I can't imagine doing that whole race in the pair that I had. So bring backup gear is the point. One thing that I thought was kind of a challenge that I didn't really care for was, like I said, it did rain, and at the aid station where we had our drop bags, all of our drop bags were out on the ground, exposed, and they all got soaked. So all the layers and dry clothes that I had in my drop bag was soaking wet. Either bring a bag that is waterproof, or have a crew. I did not have a crew when I did this race, and which was okay. You could totally do this race just fine without a crew, but if you are going to do it solo, you may want to have some bags that are waterproof, or put the clothes and layers that you want to stay dry, put them into a bag that you can seal, and put them into your drop bag. That would have been good to know. Let's see. Like I said, there was nothing too technical with this race. There's no rocks to scramble over. It's not, I mean, you do have some elevation climbing, but nothing major, nothing serious. Besides the mud, that was the biggest challenge on the trail, but there was only for certain sections and little spots. It wasn't the whole path or the whole way, which was nice. There was a lot of beautiful trees and a ton of really pretty flowers I enjoyed looking at. So I enjoyed the route a lot. It's pretty straightforward. It's a route that you do, it's 50 miles and then you do it twice. So you are able to get back to the main aid station where your car is at one point. And I did that and ended up taking a 15-minute nap in my car before I went out and did the second half of the race. So that's nice to have that option if you're able to. Also, you are doing this race when it is kind of warm, and I ran into those annoying no-see-em gnat flies overnight. For some reason, it happened overnight, but they won't let you sit down for a second without swarming you and going into your eyeball and up your nose and in your mouth. So that was annoying. If you're able to bring some bug spray, or maybe even have a face net, that may be helpful. I don't know if that's going to be the case when you do your race, but that's what I experienced when I did this race then, and that would have been nice to have one of those. It's a really lightweight sheer net that goes, you could put it right over your hat, and it would keep those no-see-em gnats from getting into your eyes and up your nose. So that would have been nice to have if I had known. The people were really friendly. The aid station, they were great. They did not have a huge variety of food, and they put mayonnaise on everything. And I hate to be so complaining, but I don't eat mayonnaise at all. So it was a very limited amount of food that I had. I didn't want to bother them and have them make anything special just for me. So I just used the food that I had brought in my drop bags. Be sure you bring food that works for you. Don't always count on an aid station having everything you need. But they did have a good variety of fruit and pretzels and such. But they did run out. Certain aid stations did run out of food by the time that I got there. I'm slow and steady, so I did run out. That did become an issue later on in the race, that they were low or out of food. So just have some food in your drop bags, a few bars or whatever that work for you, that you can have as a backup if you can. That would have been helpful. And I did have some stuff that was helpful. My feet were in a lot of pain because of the shoe issue, so I was having a hard time eating anyway. So that was a challenge. But if you do have a crew or whatever, just have some variety, is what I'm saying. Let's see. And then it's nice that they give you plenty of time for this race. It's a 30-hour cutoff, and totally doable in that time frame. Even with the rain and the mud, it's a nice, generous amount of time to get this race done and still enjoy the trail. So that was nice. But I got to the end of the race, and I was happy to be finished. I was happy to complete this race. Like I said, I was in a lot of pain. I wasn't feeling really well, so I was happy to be done. And when you get to the very end, you go through the finish line. You get to meet the race director, which is nice. I always like that touch when the race director meets you at the end themselves personally. It makes it more of a personal experience, and I appreciate that. And they give you a tea kettle, a little tiny copper tea kettle. as your finish. They don't give you the traditional belt buckle. I was confused with that at the end because I thought all races that are over 100 you would get a belt buckle, but for this race you don't get that. You only get this tea kettle. It says Kettle Moraine on it. It's very unique. It's a nice touch, but if you are expecting a belt buckle, at least the year that I did it, you don't get one. So just keep that in the back of your mind, just so you know. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just different. It's just different, and know what to expect. I saved my tea kettle, and I have it with all of my other belt buckles. So it is nice and unique to look at for sure. But just be aware of it, that you don't get one. And that was it. I ended up spending the night at a hotel the day after the race to get some rest, and then drove back home to Charlotte the next day, which was my birthday. So that's fun, and it was a nice ending to a great trip. I enjoyed the process and the whole trip as a whole, and I would do this race again for sure. I think if I did this race again, I definitely would do it a lot better. I would have a better strategy. I would have more food variety. I would have better drop bags. I would have better shoes, which I do have better shoes now. I don't know why those didn't work out well that day. It just wasn't my day, I guess. I do have a running watch that works properly now and without a problem. And I think for myself personally, I would be more prepared for this race. I think this was a very good race. It was put on well. It was organized. Like I said, the trail was well marked, and it was a good experience. But I think I would be a lot more prepared and ready for it the next time around. I would bring a bug net as well, just to have in my pack, just in case I needed it. And yeah, that's how it went for me. Definitely consider doing the Grand Slam or Super Slam challenge if you get the chance or opportunity. It's a lot of fun to do, and this is one of the earlier races. I think it was either the first or second one. I'm not sure, maybe the second. I think Indiana Trail was first, and then this one, but I'm not 100% sure. It was one of the first two, and it's a nice start to get going and to get you. They ease you in to the difficulty levels. Like Indiana Trail was, I would say, the easiest, and then Kettle Moraine, and then Burning River, and then Mohican was the toughest, and then you end the whole Super Slam with Hallucination being the easiest and most fun. So it's nice how they have it set up, and I'll try to do a video on that if you guys are interested in doing the Grand Slam or Super Slam challenge. And yep, so that is my story. I hope you guys have a great time signing up for some races and getting out there and training for it. All right, have a wonderful day.